Most newcomers in the NBA go through rookie hazing, a fun tradition that involves being a personal butler, hilarious pranks, and some public humiliation. Here's a rundown of some of the best rookie hazing stories in NBA history. Number 1. Our flight lands at 9, young fella. As a member of the Fab Five Michigan team that went to 2 NCAA finals, Jalen Rose was one of the most famous collegiate athletes in the early 90s. However, when he came to Denver and the NBA in 1994, he was no longer the big man on campus, quickly realizing he was at the bottom of the totem pole. Dikembe Mutombo was Jalen's designated veteran, and he'd often use Jalen's services to make his life more enjoyable. Mutombo was 7'2" and an all-star, and he wasn't somebody Jalen wanted to piss off. Other than carrying 25 to 30 bags on each flight and bringing donuts to practice for the entire team, young Mr. Rose was often employed by Mutombo to do more personal errands. You might get a call at 2 in the morning, and a veteran might need some adult situations to help them get through the night, Rose jokingly said. Remember, this was 1994. There were no cell phones, Uber, and delivery of whatever you wanted with 2 clicks. So Jalen had to be a taxi driver for some of his vets' female companions when they arrived at the airport. He had to go to the liquor store when he got a call, and essentially be at Mutombo and other vets' disposal whenever they wanted to. It was the letter of the law and the rite of passage, so Rose did whatever they asked him to do, describing the situation like being a personal butler. Number 2. A date with Lucy Liu. It was 2004. Charlie's Angels and Kill Bill had recently come out, and Lucy Liu was one of the most famous and most desirable women on the planet. The beautiful actress was a big basketball fan, and she could often be seen sitting courtside at the Lakers games. Tony Bobbitt was a Lakers rookie in 2004-2005, which happened to be his lone season in the NBA, and he only appeared in 2 games for the Lakers, scoring a total of 5 points. Even though he was a rookie riding the bench, Bobbitt thought he was still irresistible to famous actresses, so he immediately bragged to his vets, Vlade Divac and Devion George, about Lucy Liu glancing at him. Divac was at the very end of his career. He barely played, and he lived for moments like this. So he and George immediately schemed how to make a fool out of Bobbitt, instructing a ball boy to approach the rookie and give him a phone number with Lucy Liu's name. Of course, the number actually belonged to a criminal mastermind, Divac, who started messaging Bobbitt that very same night. Soon enough, the whole team got involved in the conspiracy, laughing at all the messages and voicemails of the deluded rookie. They ultimately set up a date with Bobbitt, who turned up all giddy and dolled up, only to be greeted by his laughing teammates. Number 3. White chocolate in the luggage department. Jason Williams was always extravagant on the court, providing some of the flashiest assists and ball-handling tricks in NBA history. Chris Webber was the frequent beneficiary of his passes, and he loved playing with Jason. Still, that didn't mean that Williams would save himself from rookie hazing, because Jason was just as crazy off the court as he was on it. He would do anything Webber and the other vets asked him to. He just didn't care, and everybody loved him for it. They made him run into a snowstorm wearing nothing but underwear, sing to the unsuspecting fans, and all other sorts of fun BS, because white chocolate was the entertaining gift that kept on giving. Finally, during one away game in Boston, Williams asked the team if he'd be relieved from hazing if he did something crazy enough, and they accepted. However, when they had to board the bus from the airport to the hotel, they realized Jason Williams wasn't on the bus. Everyone kept asking who ate the white chocolate, or if this was some weird Home Alone mishap, because Jason was on the plane and not on the bus. And then, after they arrived at the hotel, Williams popped out of the luggage department, saying that he didn't want to be riding with the rest of them bitches anyway. The guy had spent a long ride in the undercarriage of a bus during a snowstorm and freezing temperatures to avoid being hazed. So even though he did this to himself, this story definitely belongs on this list. Number 4. Sleeping on a soaked bed. It was 1986, and the Detroit Pistons had drafted John Salley and Dennis Rodman, hoping they would help them battle the Celtics and the Lakers for the NBA championship. But before they could even step on the court for the first time during the preseason, 2 rookies already had some cleaning to do, literally. Bill Laimbeer, Isaiah Thomas, and the rest of the veterans ordered Salley and Rodman to clean up the locker room after a training camp practice, while they were in the other room eating dinner with a bunch of team guests, including some beautiful women. They told the rookies that they couldn't eat until the locker room was clean as a whistle. Of course, they intentionally made a big mess everywhere, and when Salley and Rodman were finally done, they realized that all the food was eaten and that all the women were gone. Hungry and pissed off, they drove to the hotel, only to find out the beds in their rooms were completely soaked with water. Pistons were not yet called the Bad Boys, but the pedigree was definitely there, and that's how they welcomed rookies to the team. Number 5. B&P makes you feel alright. Kendrick Lamar first rapped about Patron in 2009, but the story of PNP existed long before that, and Gary Payton serves as a perfect example. When he came to Boston in 2004, Gary Payton was an established veteran, a 9-time All-Star, and a certified platinum trash talker, and somebody you did not want to make angry. Payton was accustomed to certain things, so one time when the team got to a hotel, Gary called up Kendrick Perkins and ordered him to get him a bottle of Patron. It was 2 in the morning, but when GP tells you to do something, you better go and do it, even if you're 6'10" and nearly 300 pounds like Perkins, which was 100 pounds and 6 inches more than GP. Big Perk couldn't find a liquor store open, and he had to go to the club to get one. He wasn't 21 yet, and was getting no playing time, and nobody knew who he was. So Perk had to spend $500 to get to the club, and then $1,000 more to make the club owner allow him to take the Patron out with him. When he finally got back to the hotel, Payton said, "Thanks, young fella," and slammed the door in Perk's face. Perkins was in his second year back then, and wasn't even a rookie, but he was still the youngest on the team and had to listen to the OG. Some 14 years earlier, when Gary Payton was a rookie, he had to go through the same thing. His veteran was Xavier McDaniel, one of the toughest and craziest individuals in NBA history, and Payton had to bring him stuff and follow his orders. Until one day, he had enough and said that he would not do another thing for McDaniel. Then, X-Man simply came over and put him in a sleeper hold, almost choking him out to sleep. Payton learned the lesson, and then applied it later on guys like Big Perk. Number 6. Poop in a shoe. Andre Blatche was a rookie in 2005, and he had the luck to be drafted by the Washington Wizards, where the king of goofiness, Gilbert Arenas, ruled supreme. Blatche liked to dress well, and he often wore expensive suits. As a part of his rookie initiation, Deshaun Stevenson and Antonio Daniels had cut his suit in tiny pieces when Blatche was in the shower. When he found out, Blatche lost his mind and immediately blamed Arenas, who was always orchestrating pranks like that. He threw Arenas' clothes in the hot tub, and when Gilbert came to the locker room, he decided to get revenge. On the very next day, Andre Blatche found his shoes filled with poop. For a long time, it was believed that Gilbert took a dump in his shoes, until Gil explained that he brought some from his dog and then smeared it all over Blatche's shoes. Classic no-chill Gil. Number 7. Duct tape in the shower. By his own admission, JJ Redick was an arrogant prick in college, and he was arguably one of the most hated players in NCAA history, especially by Maryland fans. When he came to the NBA, his teammates made sure to humble him pretty quickly. One time, after he was late for practice, the vets told him he needed to sit down in front of the team and apologize. When he sat down, 3 vets grabbed him and duct taped him to the chair. Then they left him in the shower with the cold water running down on him. He was freezing for an hour until one equipment manager found him. The same thing happened to Spencer Dinwiddie when he was a rookie in Detroit. Number 8. Smelly clothes and a broken keyboard. Ernie Johnson often calls Shaquille O'Neal the biggest kid in the world. Charles Barkley calls him a big bully. In a way, both are correct. Shaq adores pranks and practical jokes, and he loved to haze rookies to show them who's the boss. In 1998, Shea Seals was playing his first and only NBA season with the Lakers, and one time before practice, he got an order to bring Gatorade to the big fella, which he refused. After practice, he found all his clothes dirty and soaked up in a trash can. At that moment, Shaq just looked at him and said, "Do what I say next time, Rook." When Goran Dragic was his rookie in Phoenix, O'Neal made him carry a keyboard for an entire season. Then at the end of the year, he told Dragic that the keyboard was broken all along. However, Shaq said that Dragic and Kobe were the 2 toughest rookies he ever had, and that their toughness made him tease them way less than some others. Number 9. Carrying a shot clock to games. Jerry Sloan is mostly known for being a legendary coach of the Utah Jazz for more than 20 years, but before he started coaching, Sloan had an 11-year playing career with 2 All-Star appearances. When he was a rookie in 1965, one of Sloan's rookie duties was to bring a big shot clock to games, because at that time, teams often played in high school gyms in different cities to promote the league and the sport. Because most of those gyms didn't have a shot clock, it was usually rookies' task to carry them. Number 10. Popcorn, backpacks, and singing. Rookie hazing has changed a lot from the 80s and the 90s to the current era. When Scottie Pippen was a rookie in 1987, Charles Oakley literally grabbed Scottie by his collar and slapped him around. Rookies had to bring newspapers to the older guys, and Carlos Boozer, for example, had to bring Lithuanian newspapers to Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Boozer had them shipped to his house at an estimated cost of $1,500 for the season, and delivered them personally to Ilgauskas. Of course, Big Z could have done the same thing himself, but it was easier behavior like this. Of course, almost every rookie in history had to bring donuts to practice, and that includes LeBron James, who brought donuts for shoot-arounds for his entire rookie season. Another common thing is putting popcorn in a rookie's car, and that happens almost every season, even for star players like Trae Young, whose brand new Audi R8 got popcorned when he was a rookie. However, in recent years, things got better for the rooks, and the NBA even sent a memo to teams to make rookie hazing as light as possible to avoid injuries, accidents, and lawsuits. Nowadays, rookies might sing and dance in front of a full crowd or wear funny backpacks, but that's usually as bad as it gets.